It was early morning, the kind of quiet morning where everything seems peaceful, almost too peaceful. Birds chirped softly, and a gentle breeze rustled the trees. The streets were empty, and the sun was still yawning over the horizon. Jacob stood by the front door, looking down at Max, his golden retriever. Max was no longer the young, energetic pup he used to be. His fur had turned gray around the nose, his eyes looked tired, and his legs trembled slightly. But today, Max had done something he hadn't done in days. He stood near the door, tail wagging slowly, looking up at Jacob with his big, soulful eyes. It was as if he was asking for one last walk. Jacob hesitated. The vet had warned him just 2 days ago. Max's heart was too weak. He didn't have much time left. Every movement tired him out. But how could Jacob say no? He clipped on the leash. Max gave a soft bark, barely a whisper, but it was enough. The door opened, and together they stepped out. Neither of them knew this walk would be their last. They walked slowly through the neighborhood, down the same path they had taken 1,000 times before. Each step Max took was slower than the last, but he didn't stop. Jacob shortened the leash to stay close. Every few feet, Max would pause and sniff the air, as if saying goodbye to the smells he had known for years. As they walked, Jacob's mind drifted back to the day they met. 13 years ago, Jacob had walked into the animal shelter on a cold, rainy afternoon. He hadn't planned to adopt a dog. His life was a mess. He'd just lost his job, his girlfriend had left, and he felt completely alone. Then he saw Max. Among all the barking and jumping dogs, Max was the only one sitting quietly. His eyes locked onto Jacob's, and something clicked. That day, Jacob walked out with Max in his arms, and a new purpose in his heart. Max had changed everything. He was more than a dog. He was family. He was Jacob's shadow, his best friend, his silent protector. And now, the same dog was struggling to walk just a few steps beside him. Max had been with Jacob through everything. When Jacob finally got a job again, Max was there waiting at the door each evening. When Jacob's father died, Max sat beside him all night, resting his head on Jacob's lap without saying a word. That quiet presence had meant more than anything. They had traveled together, laughed together, even cried together. Max wasn't just a pet. He was the only constant in a life full of changes. But time is cruel, even to the best of friends. Over the past year, Max had started slowing down. First, he stopped chasing the ball. Then he stopped climbing the stairs. Eventually, he stopped eating his favorite treats. The vet called it old age, but to Jacob, it felt like watching a star slowly lose its light. He tried everything, changing food, giving medicine, building ramps, sleeping on the floor to stay near Max. But Max was fading. And now, walking beside Jacob on this peaceful morning, Max seemed to be giving him one last gift, a chance to say goodbye. They reached the park. It was empty, just the way they liked it. Jacob led Max to their favorite spot, under the big oak tree near the bench. They used to sit there after long walks, watching the sun set. Max laid down slowly, resting his head on Jacob's shoe. Jacob sat beside him on the ground, gently stroking his back. He could feel Max's breathing, shallow, slow. A tear rolled down Jacob's cheek. He knew this was the end. He leaned down and whispered, "I love you, buddy. You've been the best thing that ever happened to me. It's okay. You can rest now." Max opened his eyes one last time. They were soft, full of trust and love. He gave a small wag of his tail and let out a slow breath. And then he stopped. No sound, no cry, just silence. Jacob froze. The world around him kept moving. The trees swayed, birds sang, the breeze continued to blow. But Jacob sat still, holding Max's body close, unable to believe what had just happened. His best friend had died in his arms. The house was unbearably quiet now. No paws clicking on the wooden floor. No barking at the mailman. No warm body waiting by the door. Jacob couldn't sleep the first few nights. Every shadow looked like Maximum. Every sound made him turn around, hoping it was him. He left Max's bowl untouched. The leash still hung by the door. His bed remained in the corner. Jacob couldn't bring himself to move any of it. It felt like if he kept everything in place, maybe, just maybe, Max would come back. Grief is a strange thing. Some days, Jacob felt nothing. Other days, The smallest thing, a dog in a movie, an old photo, a random smell, would break him. But in those quiet moments, he also felt something else, peace. Because Max didn't suffer. He wasn't alone. He had gone exactly where he had spent his life, right by Jacob's side. That thought gave Jacob the strength to start healing. 1 week later, Jacob did something he had been avoiding. He sat down at his desk, took a deep breath, and began to write. He wrote a letter, not for anyone else, but for Max. Dear Max, you came into my life when I had nothing and gave me everything. You never judged me, never left me, never asked for more than a belly rub and a walk in the park. You were with me through heartbreak, through joy, through silence. You showed me what it means to love without conditions. I miss you every second. But I know you're running free now, chasing clouds and rolling in the grass somewhere beautiful. One day, we'll meet again. And when we do, I'll bring the leash, but you won't need it. Love always. You're human. Jacob folded the letter, placed it inside Max's old collar, and hung it next to Max's favorite photo. His ears perked, tongue out, smiling at the camera like he knew something the rest of the world didn't. Jacob smiled too. A soft, sad smile, but a real one, because love like that doesn't end when a heartbeat stops. It lives on. If you've ever loved a dog, you understand this pain. They are not just pets, they are family. And when they leave, they take a piece of our hearts with them. But in return, they leave behind memories, beautiful, powerful memories that never fade. Hug your dog today. Tell them you love them. Because one day, that simple walk or wag of the tail will be the moment you remember most.